Hi, seventh grade. So these are the answers to the questions for part three. So the first question is, what was the second bank of the United States? Now, people believe that the bank was too powerful and needed to be eliminated. Essentially, what the bank did was it controlled all the money flow in the United States, and it controlled the state banks as well. So, for example, one of the things that it did was it monitored the number of loans, meaning money given out to people that was done by the state banks, and it would also kind of prevent state banks from handing out too much money. So a lot of people believe that the second bank of the U.S. was too powerful, and they believe this because, like I said, it controlled loans made by state banks. Now, Jackson, being a Westerner, most Westerners thought this way. They were not fans of the second bank of the United States. So one of the things that Jackson actually wanted to do during his presidency was to get rid of this bank. And one of the reasons he wanted to do this is because he believed it gave a certain number of private bankers, so the men who controlled the bank, he believed that it made them wealthy off of the regular American man's dollar. So that's something that he wanted to make sure was not happening. He also had a huge feud with the president of the bank. The president of the bank's name was Nicholas Biddle. And Nicholas Biddle came from a wealthy Philadelphia family, and he was actually very qualified to run the bank based on his own business background. And the United States, under Biddle, actually experienced a very stable and prosperous economy. However, that didn't satisfy Jackson in the least. So Biddle was definitely fearful of Jackson destroying the bank. So what happened was you have two senators coming into play. You have Henry Clay and Daniel Webster, and what they try to do is they try to come up with a way to save the bank and defeat Jackson. Now remember, the Whigs believed that most Americans appreciated the role of the bank and it helped make the nation prosperous. Now, does that count for everybody in the United States during this time period? Absolutely not. That's mainly the feeling of the people in the East and the South, but not in the West. So what they do is they try to come up with a way to save this bank, and they do this through Congress, through a legal way. However, Jackson, because of the checks and balances system, comes up with a response because he's actually sick when all of this happens, so he doesn't know what's going on. So when he gets better, he cuts off the funds to the national bank, and it causes this whole feud to take place between Clay and Webster and Jackson. So Jackson's belief about the bank was, and this is what he used when he talked to Congress when he gave his angry speech, that it was unconstitutional, that the bank helped those who were already wealthy and it didn't help the common American man. So remember, Jackson's a Westerner. He came from humble beginnings. Therefore, he's going to always side with the common people first, not the wealthy aristocrats who come from already wealthy families. So what happens is Webster and Clay, during the election of 1832, tried to throw in the issue of the national bank because they believed that most people liked the bank. However, that backfired in their faces, essentially. So they put Clay up as their candidate for the Whig Party, and then Andrew Jackson was the candidate for the Democrat Party, and Andrew Jackson ended up winning by a numerous amount of votes. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. Also, for your quiz on Monday, please make sure you read the section about the economic crisis and political changes that takes place in the United States. That's on pages 319 to 322. There are a couple of questions about that information. Also, you may send me the answers to your open-endeds. I will check them over. I posted the open-ended in Classroom, so you may send them to me up until Sunday night. If you have any questions, please just let me know.